trainers, the expectation that we have from them is much more than that of any other facility. But we also provide them with the education they need to be able to perform at its best. In time to come, of course, I would love to give you huge numbers, but we can only grow at a slow and steady rate if we want to be a quality organization. And I'm hoping that we will create thousands of jobs over the next decade.
Thousands of jobs across the globe or in India?
In India, for sure.
So right now you have 2 centers or 1 center? How many centers you have? You talked about Mumbai is the first center. If so, it has started. How many people are working right there? And what is the goal you want to achieve in terms of jobs in Bangalore?
So in Bangalore, we would like to have a minimum of 5 clubs. See, Bangalore is densely populated. As you know, the traffic is probably the worst that I've ever seen anywhere in the world. Therefore, people are not willing to travel great distances to go to the gym. So we are planning to have a minimum of 5 clubs in Bangalore. And if we're talking about the number of jobs that we will create here, then you can have an average of around 30 people, 35 people per center that we would have that will be employed as a result of each center opening. So you can just do the calculation on that basis and see how many jobs we'll create. But 5 centers is what we aim to have. I can certainly see a bigger potential in Bangalore, more than 5.
So, see, most of the we have Talwars and other brands. They must be rivals for you in India. But most of the fitness center, according to me, what I observed, is that it is located in big cities or metro cities. So what are the plans of you taking to, even I heard that 2 tier and 3 tier also. Do you have any plan for villages? There are also a lot of pahalwans are there. You have to take them to the villages. Like I'll tell you, for example, talking about sports, Mahendra and Mahendra, Mr. Anand Mahendra, he invested a lot of money in popularizing the kabaddi because he used to sell tractors to farmers, so he had that connection to the village. So do you have any such plans apart from metro cities, tier 1 cities, tier 2 cities, tier 3 cities?
Sure. So I'll start with your first point regarding other brands who are already in India. I don't really look at them as rivals. So if I was looking at them as rivals, then we would have a fierce competition with price. Because generally Indians compete with price. So if a gym opens up, a new gym will open up and they will try and undercut the price. That is not our mission. I respect every single fitness brand in the country because they have a different vision to us. As long as they're doing something good for the fitness of the wellness of people, great. Our mission is to provide a high quality service but get people results. So they are not rivals. They have their own target audience. Our target audience is different. Secondly, I totally agree. Our centers are probably out of reach for some of these people in villages and tier 3, tier 4 cities. And we have had the most amount of inquiries from people from those regions. And so we have got to the drawing board and we have designed a new gym model which will be a lower cost setup for us. So we are then able to pass those low cost fees onto the members. So they will be more affordable for people in tier 3, tier 4s. And I am really excited to launch this. And I'm hoping before the end of this year, we'll definitely launch a lower cost model for the tier 3, tier 4 cities. So people from the villages, people from the smaller towns will be able to afford and go to these places because they look up to the metros and they think, firstly, we live too far. Secondly, the cost is too high. Because what you have to understand is when we do go to the villages, they are now much more clued up. They have internet access. They know what fitness means to them. They just don't have the facilities. So we definitely aim to do this. Our intention is not just to provide the middle and upper class with facilities. We want to have a solution for everybody. So yes, definitely we want to do that.
How difficult it would be, see, business means for a consumer, it is the fees you're charging. How affordable it would be? Actually, that's quite fearful because you have a brand, international brand, a US brand. So people would have a perception that it will not be affordable for many of us. So what is the clarification?
Well, look, the first thing I will say is that your health is not an expense. Your health is an investment. The first thing that I always say to people when they say, you know, too expensive, when I talk about anything, not our gym, but anything, I always say to them, let's imagine that you had one day to live and I could offer you 5 years, but there was a price to pay. How much would you be willing to pay for another 5 years if you only had one day to live? And then most people say, well, I would give anything for that. But how about if I said to you that, you know, the amount of money that you spend on liquor, cigarettes, things that are going to be bad for your health, just a fraction of that what you spend in a whole year as a gym membership, which will add years to your life. Would you do it then? And actually the answer is yes. Most people, even the middle and upper class, they come and complain that, yeah, you know, a gym membership is expensive. But they spend as equivalent to a gym membership on 2 weekends on liquor, on partying. But they will not be ready